Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest things that I see entrepreneurs struggle with managing all the things. More specifically, when you're working from home or as a mom. And the reason I talk about this is because as a mom who works from home, there's often the struggle of managing all of the pieces. How do you continue to stay on top of the laundry and the grocery shopping and keeping the house clean and still managing to check in with your business and ensure that you're doing the right things and all the stuff? And I talk about strategy a lot. And the reason I talk about strategy is not because it's the most important thing. It actually is not. Your belief system is way more important than any strategy, because if you don't believe the strategy is going to work, well, then it doesn't freaking matter what you do. It just really doesn't. But the reason I talk about strategy is because it's a great foundation for you to grow that belief off of. And I am a huge proponent of building a strong foundation, and routines are a beautiful thing. They actually allow for a whole lot of creativity to come through. So when it comes to the strategy side of things, I'm always looking for a way to be just a little bit more efficient, right? How can I take whatever it is that I'm doing and make it take less time so that I can have more time to do the things that I truly want to be doing? And AI is a great tool for this. It is a great researcher. I use it to save me a whole lot of time, right? If I'm looking for, I used it yesterday actually. I received an email that I needed an attorney for something. And so I just went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, what attorneys in the area can help me with this thing? And it listed off a few attorneys. I gave a couple a call, waiting to hear back. I don't actually need an attorney at this point. But it saved me a whole bunch of time rather than going to Google and reviewing all of that stuff. And so it has created a whole lot more time for those kinds of things, because why do I need to search Google when AI can search all of the websites for me and give me the information that I need? Additionally, something as easy as finding forms. I was online yesterday and I was paying our taxes, and I didn't want to hunt through the government website to figure out what link I needed to pay the taxes for. So I just asked ChatGPT. I said, hey, what's the link to pay state taxes in Virginia? It popped it up, gave it to me. Cool, done, right? Like, it's super helpful that way. Now, definitely utilize it, figure out how to use it for sure. But when it comes to other things, having a routine, having tasks that you do during certain times of the day, during the week, whatever it is, can really, really help to streamline, because then you don't have to think about that thing any other day of the week. And that is the biggest inefficiency, is thinking about all the other things that you have to do, because it takes away from your ability to focus on what actually has to be done. And because a number of reasons. One, you don't want to forget the thing. Two, you really need to make sure that the thing is done, right? But it's like having all of these open windows on your computer and trying to narrow down which one to work on. And so I do talk about focus and flow a lot. Now, my focused energy is about 2 hours. And then that's about it. I cap out. Typically, I don't even have to work in those 2-hour blocks. Sometimes I do, depending on what I'm working on. But typically, it doesn't take me 2 hours, because I can focus on the single task at hand and then go do whatever I want. Right? And that works incredibly well for me. And so I will legitimately just tell myself, okay, hey, just focus on this task. You're trying to do too many things. Focus on this thing, get it done, move on to the next thing, right? And I was having this conversation with my mom the other day, actually, because there are a lot of projects that she wants to work on around the house. And she called me up and she said, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? I want to make sure that some of these things get done this year. How do I do it? And I said, well, you have to work within your own habits, essentially, right? Let's not recreate the wheel, essentially. And so I was coaching her through this, and I said, all right, what I would recommend you doing, I said, this is what works really, really well for me. I said, first off, I know that I can probably only accomplish a few tasks at a time. And I said, and I know some of those tasks that you have are quite sizable. I said, so what I'm going to recommend that you do is make a list of these different tasks, and then underneath those tasks, make a list of the smaller steps involved in that task. Because again, some of those tasks are quite sizable, right? It's like working on a really big project that has 14 different steps. Trying to do all 14 steps at once is going to be near impossible, and it's going to hurt your brain, right? But saying, okay, hey, here are 14 steps. I'm going to accomplish 3 today and be good with that. And I remember having this conversation with a client as well. And she had this massive task of organizing her office and her paperwork. And she just didn't even want to start it because she was afraid of how long it was going to take. And so she would just shut the door. But she really wanted this office space because she did want to work from home. And at the time she was working out of her bedroom, and that just really wasn't conducive. She had the office space. She just didn't have usable office space. And so I said to her, I said, okay, what I want you to do is break down the task of organizing your office into small 20-minute chunks. That's it. 20-minute chunks. So maybe once a day you go in and you say, okay, I'm going to sort through this box. I'm going to sort through that box. I'm going to sort through whatever box is, right? And by doing that in small manageable tasks, yes, maybe it took a little bit longer. It really didn't, because she was merely avoiding it. So it didn't take any longer than it would have. But she was able to dive into it. And within a few weeks, she had moved her computer, because I remember having a call with her in her office. She had moved her computer into her office, and she had bought this beautiful little chase lounge. She had a nice little area rug. She had some stuff that she wanted to finish hanging up on the wall. But the space became usable because she wasn't afraid of the entire task. She was willing to chop it down into little pieces. And this is what trips people up, is that they're not afraid to do just a little bit of it. They want the whole thing done. And most of the stuff that we work on throughout the day is not actually going to get you there. Oh, excuse me. Bless me. So again, as much, and this is the thing that I love, right? Like, we think of the big vision. Hey, I want this thing to be complete. That we don't necessarily pay attention to all these little steps that are required along the way. And the little steps are easy. They are truly, the little steps are truly easy, but when we look at the big task, we're like, oh my God, I can't do that. But it's because we haven't taken it down into these little steps. So your big vision has little steps in it that are manageable, that can be done easily. And so you've got to break down that vision into manageable chunks, right? So one of our big vision, right? Big, huge vision is generational wealth. Okay, so trying to accomplish generational wealth today, impossible. Just, it is. To accomplish it today is impossible. However, there are steps that I can do today that will help get me there. And so one of those things is my husband and I just recently bought a business. Another thing is my coaching business. And then we're looking at doing some real estate investing. We also have some money in stocks. And so there are those different areas, and each day there is something that can be done in one of those areas. Now, is it going to be the end all and be all? No. It is a journey. to generational wealth. It's not a destination I can check it off and be done with it. It is a walk, one day at a time, a walk towards that big vision. And chances are you have a big vision in your life as well. And the only reason it feels impossible is because you haven't broken it down into manageable steps. You're not walking it. You're trying to rocket yourself there, and that feels impossible. The vision that you want for your life is 100% achievable. 100% achievable. As long as you're walking there. Now, sometimes you can skip, sometimes you run, sometimes you jump over a couple of things for sure, right? But it's the journey there. And it's not going to happen like this, right? Thank you, Amazon Prime, for ruining that for everyone, right? Amazon Prime has ruined this idea of patience for everybody. I remember growing up being so excited for a package to come. There was no, like, we didn't have a computer where you could check the tracking information. There was no Amazon where it was like, your delivery will be done between 4 and 6 p.m. Like, that wasn't a thing growing up. Dial-up internet, holy crap, you had to actually wait to even get online. And that's what your vision is. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but it's not impossible. So, if you have a big vision, you're not entirely sure how to get started with it, please reach out to me. I would love to help you make it a reality. And decide, right? Previous episode, check that out. Yes, if you have a big vision, I want to help you make it a reality, and I want to help you make it a reality in a way in which you enjoy. Your vision, getting to your vision should be an enjoyable process. Yes, there'll be times that challenge you, that grow you. It's kind of the purpose of life though, right? So, I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.